Well, they're
That's all. So yeah, that was really good. Because I figured out sharing it on it.
Okay, we have about a minute left.
I can't do that when they're
One minute left.
They're hanging down.
I think we're good. Okay, everybody ready? I'd like to call to order the public hearing portion of our meeting tonight. This public hearing is for an industrial solar array to be installed on 57 Paris Road in Bethel. And the project will be accessed from the east of Bethel Road and will have 6.7 acres of solar panels. Do we have anyone here from the public that would like to speak? No one? Are you? Yeah.
We're the
You're the, okay. We'll get to you, okay. Well, all right then. Would someone like to make a motion? Just a public hearing,
We're not,
and no one's speaking, so we're gonna close it right away.
all right.
I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn the public. Okay, could I have a second?
A second.
All in favor? Surprise. Okay, now I'd like to call to order the planning board meeting of May 22nd. And I do have an opening statement. Okay, welcome to the regular meeting of the Bethel Planning Board. Today is Wednesday, May 22nd, 2024. This meeting is scheduled for 6 to 8 p.m. We need a majority vote of the planning board to go beyond 8 o'clock. With that in mind, I have one item on the agenda to consider this evening. Under new business, we will begin to consider an industrial solar array for Bethel Renewables located at 57 Paris Road under Chapter 144, which is new, by the way. First. Before we proceed, I'd like to remind everyone that all questions need to go through the chair. So, with that in mind, would you like, oh no, I gotta do a quorum.
And minutes and.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. I'd like to declare quorum. And how about the minutes? Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes?
Motion to accept the minutes from May 8th.
Would somebody like to second that? All in favor?
I'm abstaining.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
so-
Oh, and you too, right? Okay. Courtney, did you have a communication for us?
I do. Back when the Community Concepts daycare came before the planning board a couple of months ago, you all had asked for follow-up regarding signage. They were talking to DOT about potentially putting, it wasn't a condition of approval, but you guys had asked for them to maybe check with DOT about getting like a turning lane or school ahead. They have been very good about keeping me in the loop with their emails. And DOT did email them back, and Catherine at DOT said the driveway doesn't meet the requirements on a blind drive to require any signage. And then he put, this is the email from Catherine, I believe the request from the planning board just to look into this, so. They looked into it, DOT said it doesn't meet the requirements, so.
Interesting. Okay. Thank you. Okay, do we have to read into the record anything for the next,
Yes,
about the renewables?
yep, so I have 3 things I'd like to read into the record. I have the letter from the Bethel Fire Chief. It says that this memo is provided to you in accordance with the Site Plan Ordinance 140-8.1 requirements for site plan. The fire chief shall review all the plans and consider the availability of fire hydrants and/or cisterns or other provisions for fire protection services to include the accessibility of the road for fire equipment. The development shall meet the requirements of the fire chief. It's also in accordance with 144-9, additional standards for industrial solar energy systems. The solar system owner applicant shall provide a copy of site plan review application for the fire chief for review and comment. The fire chief shall base any recommendation for approval or denial of the application upon review for the fire safety of the proposed system. Mike has at the end, I've had an opportunity to review the site plan application for Bethel Renewables for a 6.7 total acre solar array. The fire department requests that a Knox box rapid access system be installed on the access gate. This will enable emergency vehicles to have reliable access to the site if it is ever required. So that's my first document.
Okay,
Would
thank you.
anybody like to see that or have a copy?
Whew.
So do you want to vote on that one?
Okay,
I'll make a motion to enter the fire chief's letter into the record.
Second.
okay, all in favor? Okay.
And then the next thing I have is a pyramid that was sent, and it just shows because some of the application came through as Nextamp, but the actual applicant is Bethel Renewables. And it just kind of breaks down that Nextamp is the parent company, Harry Barrett, Business Developer Director, and then these 3 sub-companies are off that. There's Project Co. LLC, Bethel Renewable LLCs, and then Project Co. LLC again.
Okay.
So which one of those is
So
related?
Bethel Renewables
Yeah,
is the applicant,
yeah.
so that's just showing how it's
Yes,
connected,
okay.
as Nextamp is like the parent
Yes.
company.
It's
I
a
asked for a
wholly owned-
breakdown, just to kind of make it a little bit more clear for
Mhm.
everyone.
Thanks,
Okay.
because that was a question I had.
Thank
So,
you. I'd like to entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept the chart showing the relationship between the various LLCs and the parent company be entered into the record.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
And then lastly, I did ask for a letter of proxy. So I received an email directly from Henry Barrett, who's a business developer and director, saying to whom it may concern, please accept this email as authorizing SME to serve as agent for the Bethel Renewables / Nextamp permit application and any supporting documentation. Sincerely, Henry Barrett. And that's from hbarrett@nextamp.com.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we accept the proxy letter appointing the applicant's consultants as able to present their application.
Second.
All in favor? So moved. Okay, all right, thank you. Now, would you like to do, Scott?
I'm not allowed to speak, but I'm under communication. I just wanted to ask a question. I'm here for Mark Egerberg, and he wants to write you guys a letter and hopefully represent the letter. Would that be June 26th, next meeting?
Yeah, we won't, yes, would have to be, Todd, give it to Courtney. And our next meeting is June 26th because the town
What's the
meeting,
deadline for that letter to get in your packet?
3 weeks prior to June 26th.
3 weeks prior,
Right, is that correct, Courtney?
Yes, 21 days for a new application.
June 5th.
Yep.
Mhm.
all right. Not an application, just it's a communication.
Yeah, I think that still goes under the 21 days, Scott.
Any additional stuff for an existing application is 14.
Mm-hmm.
You guys can vote how you'd like to.
Well, is it considered an
Look at that.
existing
It's-
application?
There's no application.
I'm not sure where we're at with that. I mean,
I wasn't here.
That's not in our rules of procedure for those, so I would be comfortable accepting something 14 days if He said I will provide it in 21.
We're not sure if the application's with
I'll work with 14, and it seems like it ought to be 7, but maybe, maybe it's 14, that's fine.
Yeah.
14, that's the rule, that's the rule. That's fine. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Now, would you like to give us a presentation of your project?
Where's the easel?
Where's what?
Oh, yeah, where is everything?
We don't have an easel.
We have this, we both have this thing.
I know what it is.
Someone, this one,
Maybe in the back.
everybody?
If everyone-
I'm good, but I,
There we go.
Okay.
We have one.
Nice.
Everyone's pretty fun.
Thank you. It's easier. Thank you. Well, I'll provide a,
Would you possibly put that on
Oh, yeah.
the sides, the
Yeah, the public.
yeah,
the
we usually
public
kind of put it,
could also be
Usually
privileged?
it goes where their tuition is, actually.
Thank you.
there we go.
Turn it just a
You may have to turn it a
Yep.
little bit more so the public can see.
Thank you.
So go ahead.
There.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
all right, I'll provide a brief overview, but, the findings of fact that Courtney provided has almost everything I'm gonna say. Thank you for the time tonight. I'm Mike Roy from CD&M Mahar Engineers, here with me from Bethel Renewables and Henry Barrett. We're here as part of the site plan reviews for Bethel Renewables. It's a 0.99 megawatt ground mounted solar project. It's proposed on a lease area off 57 Terrace Road. The lease area, as been said, is 6.7 acres. That 6.7 acres covers 2 parcels that are both part of an active gravel pit off Paris Road. The project itself is not located in the historic or shoreline zones. The project will be accessed off East, an existing gravel road off East Bethel Road. That access does have an existing DOT permit, but it requires a change of use that we have submitted just to add the solar project onto it. The road itself, the majority of it will be improved to 15 feet wide. However, the first 250 feet will be 20 feet wide, and that's for utility requirements, so the utility can access the utility poles there. The road itself is designed for WB67 vehicles to safely travel in and out. There's a turnaround at the end and also a turnaround for pickup trucks outside the fenced-in area. For security, the panels themselves will have an 8-foot-high perimeter fence. There is a 6-inch wildlife gap on that fence. And it does have 2 vehicle gates as well as personnel gates to access. There is on the details, there is a knockbox as the fire chief requested. Utilities, the only utility needed is just the power extension to the solar array, no water, sewer. The power connection will start as overhead, and then once it crosses an existing stream, we go underground to the power equipment out there by the array. Traffic, once construction's completed, it'll be minimal, quarterly, monthly, just to inspect, maintenance, and mowing 2 to 4 times a year, just to keep the grass below the panels. I know Courtney was interested. Henry did reach out to the gravel pit operator, and he has no concerns with continuing to use the southern access point off Paris Road. He should still be able to access that. I know that was created for dust, to assist with dust. Our environmental work, the site was mapped for environmental resources by Frick Associates. He identified a stream, wetlands, and a significant vernal pool in the project area. The project itself proposes no direct or indirect wetland impacts. The project will not create any new disturbance within the significant vernal pool buffer. We're only disturbing pre-disturbed areas. The project does propose to replace an existing undersized stream crossing. So this crossing here is undersized right now, and we're upgrading that to match the DEP stream crossing standards. The project reviews, we requested project reviews by the Maine Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife, the Maine Natural Heritage Program, the Maine Historic Preservation, and all agencies had no concerns with the project location. Impacts of the project, because the project is in a open, active gravel pit area, it requires very little clearing, only about 1/10 of an acre. There's no wetland impact. One of the benefits is the lease area itself, the 6.7 acres, will be converted to a meadow, and it'll be planted with a New England solar pollinator mix. We designed stormwater in accordance with Maine DEP Chapter 500 and Bethel requirements. And we feel that restoring the gravel pit and establishing vegetation will improve the existing stormwater management. In addition to Bethel permitting, we've submitted a stormwater permit by rule for the disturbed area. And we submitted a Natural Resources Protection Act permit by rule for the stream crossing, and for the activity within the 250-foot significant vernal pool buffer. Both PBRs were submitted more than 15 days ago, which DEP has a 15-day review period on PBRs. And then finally, buffering. I know this isn't a good plan for it, but there will be a natural, just because of where the project is, there's all wetlands here. It's all wetlands here. There will be a natural buffer maintained between East Bethel Road, Harris Road, and Route 26. Just the project doesn't require any clearing, so that buffer is still going to be maintained. And we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. So, it is our, at this point, what we like to do is normally find standing and then schedule a site walk. A project like this, that's our habit. Like to go out and get eyes on it so we can better figure it out. A lot of it's the buffering part for us. So I was gonna ask for a motion for standing, but I have a question about standing, which is the only thing we're probably gonna do tonight. On your option in ground lease, you say January 4th, 2022 is the effective date that goes out for 365 days. So we're a year and a half beyond these dates, unless I'm not reading this right.
I believe there's a contingency, but.
Yeah, so,
And it might be in here and I
Yeah.
just missed it.
yeah, so there, that's the initial option period for a year. So it gets us to 23. And then further down in the term section,
Under that.
Section 5, there's an additional 365 days, and an additional 2 periods of 6 months. So after the initial option period of 1 year, there's 2 more years of
Okay.
what we call it's the development construction period, which is when we'll typically do this type of work and then the construction work. So with all that, we're still within that
Okay,
time period.
all right.
And the length of your lease with options to renew extends out how long?
To 40 years.
For
40
years.
Okay.
And is 40 years in any way equated with the lifetime serviceability of these panels and that kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly.
And can you explain why you went with a ground lease as opposed to on land that you would own?
It's usually up to the landowner's preference and sort of discretion to either sell the land or lease it. Most cases, they typically want to lease the land, because then after the 40 years, the system is gone and they still have the land after that.
And, oh God, I've just lost another question. Well, I think I need another explanation of what a community solar project is, because we've had only
2 others. currently in.
Both of them were,
Oh,
I don't
not
think
know.
they were both identified
Those
as
didn't go
community
through
solar.
site plan review, so I'm unsure. Or they didn't go through solar review, so.
Mhm.
Right, we didn't have-
So you're just trying to understand what community.
Solar means as opposed to non-community solar.
Sure. So, in essence, where the solar program is right now, that the state has set up, is just a community solar program. And so what that means is that it allows for residents, businesses, towns, anybody who, is hooked up to the CMP grid, to sign up to be a subscriber to a solar farm like this. And then you get allocated a certain amount of credits depending on your home usage, that will be offset from the credits that are produced by the array.
Mhm.
And then a company like Nexamp will contract with you as a subscriber, send you credits from the array, and it reduces your monthly CMP electric bill.
Okay, so this power is going into the grid.
Yep.
But you are the power supplier for the people who sign up through you. Is that a correct statement?
Yes, with the caveat that we wouldn't replace the actual supply that's going to your house. So we're not like a third-party supplier of energy. It's
Okay.
just sort of
More capacity
out
that's
in
being.
there credits that get sent to your bill. So you're
Okay.
still getting hooked up to CMP, you're still getting.
A bill
going
from
through
CMP.
Yeah.
Okay. And.
Are we allowed to use these prints?
Sorry?
Are we allowed to use these prints?
In what sense?
Fire starter.
Whatever you wanna use afterwards.
I won't be offended
If you go to C10 and you go to surveyor's notes, it says this survey was prepared for the exclusive use of the persons or entity named in the certification and title block of this plan. This survey does not extend to any unnamed person or entity without having SGC's engineering consent in writing. So, is this board allowed to use these prints to do that?
Oh, yeah, that's just, that's a standard, SGC did the boundary survey.
Well, where's our written permission then?
There's a stamp plan included in the set on the back. The SGC provided their stamp plan, and it's the second to last sheet, I believe, in the plan set. And it has their surveyor stamp on it.
Yes, but
I
does
think-
that give us permission to use them?
I think this distinction is like anybody off the street. you know,
Yeah,
It's.
I'm just reading what it says here, that's all.
yeah. It's meant for like an abutter.
No, it's not, because I deal in taxation down in Oxford County.
Yep.
And if this was on an appraisal, we couldn't use it. We would have to get permission from the people to do it.
Okay. This is
We've done
just a
it many
boundary
a time,
survey.
that we were not allowed to, or we voted not to use it because they said right in the appraisal that it was only for exclusive use of that one person. So I ask again, I'm reading his notes.
Yep.
And the note says that you have to have written permission. You can use it any way you want to.
Yeah,
But can we use it? Well, we're a different entity than you are.
I guess I'm a little confused as to how you would use it, that's why
Well,
Right,
we have to
so-
look
For
at it.
deliberation.
Oh, yeah,
So
just,
our-
it's part of the
It's
application.
part of the application, we have to look at it, it's gonna be on file.
But I think the term use in this sense is
Would it be too
describing.
difficult to give us a statement that we can use this from somebody?
I can easily reach out to the surveyor, yeah, or I can have him take it off the plan.
I think the nuance there is the term use, and that the product that SGC did is for our use to put together an application to present to the board.
Correct. It can't be used on another application.
Yeah, it's not for somebody else.
It's not for somebody else.
neighboring lot.
Like the neighboring lot,
Use-
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what,
Can you do me another favor? I can't even begin to read these.
I have big plans in my office. if
Oh,
anybody
okay, I was
wants
gonna say for the next time,
They,
okay.
no, they have provided them,
I was like, Courtney, get me at least one sec.
You know, we have very large prints in our office, if anybody would like to come in, I mean, obviously
All right.
it's all.
Well, you know how I read it sometimes. I showed you that.
I do, that's what I do at home too.
But I can send more if you.
I have another question.
No, it's just, it's usually, one set's what we usually want, if we could just have them at the next meeting, so,
Yeah, we didn't have written permission.
oh, thank you.
Did you have a question? Because I had.
I'll ask them. Rich, did you have a question?
I have another question.
Okay, Bob, did you have another
Well, I
question?
did know, because what was going on, but one of the things I don't understand about electricity, it's like water, right? I mean, I use what comes out of the wall. Who provides it to CMP, whether 10% is coming from solar, 10% is coming from a magician, or 10%, whatever it's coming from. So that's why I don't understand all these credits and stuff like that, because as the consumer, I'm paying for X amount. So I don't understand, I mean, I know this is outside of your purview, but I'm just
Yeah.
kind of curious.
Yeah, so you're right that the energy that this is producing is gonna be sent back onto the grid and can be used
And electricity is electricity.
where the grid services, yeah.
Right.
So the community solar piece is really just a billing mechanism where a entity owner can sign up with a solar company to just get credits from any array within CMP territory allocated to your CMP bill to offset the cost that you're paying CMP. So it reduces what you pay to CMP. So you may not be getting, the exact electrons from this array,
But you have.
but you're
But it's a
getting.
way of personally subsidizing a solar industry somehow, or it's
Well,
like,
you're getting a discount to your monthly bill, so you're getting savings each month that are being produced from a solar array.
So what you're saying is only if you, because this project is a community project, it has that access. So the problem that we had, the issue we had with the last two, and I'm gonna ask this question, Bethel didn't get any benefit from. It was already, before it ever came to us, it was already set out to everybody but locals. So
What are you talking about?
when the other two arrays went in, there was no benefit to the taxpayers of Bethel couldn't sign up for it, couldn't get any benefit from those arrays.
Well, of
And
course
they
you do.
weren't community ones.
Of course you do, regardless of, you have a grid in the state of Maine that covers everything.
Yeah.
You pick off it, everybody picks off it. Now, where the supply comes from is immaterial, because you could get supply from Canada, you could get supply from gas generation, coal generation, hydropower, that feed into the grid. There's no section that just takes care of Bethel.
Correct.
We're getting the same power per se as that they're doing up at Fort Kent, because they're getting it off the grid. All they're doing, I like to think of it as, you got this big bucket, and you got spigots filling it. These spigots are different
That's what I was gonna say.
generations of power that go into this bucket. You, the consumer, are down here on the bottom tapping it off. So it's,
but that gets back to my very question, is it does seem to matter where it's coming from.
no, it
As
doesn't.
well, it does, because
If
he's
you
saying.
wanna get on Nexit, then you sign up with them to get the
You
discount,
pay,
or
you
you
have to
get the
sign
standard,
up.
you get the standard.
But you're
I think I
signing up
signed up with
the
Nexit.
producer
I
supply.
am.
Yeah, I get a huge discount
You
for
get
that.
that discount, you sign up and say, I wanna purchase my power through this solar company, and you do get a discount.
Because you're not getting it from the solar company, you're getting it from CMP.
CMP is a transmission
But-
line, that's all CMP is, that's all they're really becoming, is a billing mechanism and a
Yeah, yeah.
transmission.
So it's not a bucket, it's not a huge bucket of
Well,
It
electricity.
is, in a sense, it is a sense, in a sense.
In a sense, it's just
Well,
great
can we
big.
ask, is your project fully subscribed?
No, and there's opportunity to
In answer
subscribe
to
to it.
Jim's question.
I just got a thing from Nexamp in the mail, wanted me
Yeah.
to sign up, which I didn't do.
Why would you, I don't understand
Because
why one would.
instead of paying, what was it, 10 cents per kilowatt hour, Nexamp is offering, say, 9 per kilowatt hour. So you get a little bit difference in the kilowatt hours that you consume.
But a kilowatt hour out of the wall's a kilowatt hour.
That is
Yeah,
true.
It kind of it kind of goes back to the bucket. It's like-
Mitch, can I try to explain this to Mitch real quick?
Sure. Good.
Okay, take solar out of it for a minute, okay? There are several companies in Maine, I won't name companies, that offer, we'll leave solar, we'll leave heating oil companies, we'll leave all these other electricity main companies out of it. Not so much solar, just in general. I signed up with a company, right? They bought a chunk of electricity, so many, I'm assuming kilowatts or however they figured out, at a rate, right? They then say, hey, everybody sign up at this rate, so when I get my bill, or when I got my bill,
From that
I-
company.
it still comes through CMP.
Because
I
CMP
don't,
is-
nope, this is where I'm gonna lose you here, so stay.
Stay focused.
Okay, on my bill, there are 2 lines, right? It says electricity, kilowatts at blank, a kilowatt hour, however it's figured out, through blank company that I signed up with. And then I have a CMP transmission charge, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So it's the kilowatt hours that would change, we're guessing who you sign up with, is this correct? So like, I know several years ago, when it first became a thing, I think CMP opened it up, that people could, it was a free market and everybody could buy from whoever. There was several companies that were, hey, CMP's at this kilowatt, but we'll give it to you for this kilowatt for 1 year if you sign a contract with us. So it's the kilowatt hours, take CMP out of it, CMP will charge you to bring the electricity to your outlet, regardless if you're with Nexamp or a heating oil company or an electricity company.
Or windmill.
Or a
They're
windmill,
all
thank
putting
you,
in
I forgot about
the-
windmills too. So
Okay.
this is just the kilowatts. You will not get electricity most likely from that solar, right? But if you take that out of it, it's like a block of electricity at this amount of money, and then it works it down. Is
That's
that
why.
somewhat of a dumbed down way, is that correct?
It's
That-
really,
that's
it's
how
all
I
really
understand
complicated,
it.
sorry, yeah.
It's way over my head.
I mean,
I-
if you
I
don't
believe
sign
that's
up
somewhat
with
how
an
I've understood
alternate
it.
supplier, you're
Yeah.
gonna get this standard offer.
Yeah.
Another way, simple way to look at it. The turnpike is the delivery channel. They charge you to get on the turnpike to drive around. Where you go beyond that, how you get everything after that is somebody else. It's like you,
Yeah,
But if CMP as the deliverer of this electricity offers you or the suppliers to CMP offer all the various customers different rates, one would almost think that, just to use an example of a town like Bethel, that there's a negotiation possible. That you could negotiate with CMP then to get the lowest amount, because if they're the only ones in the market.
so it used to be that way, 20 years ago, when,
not even.
when
It just became
CMP
an open market.
controlled
recently.
everything. Then it split, legislation said CMP will do the transmission, others supply the stuff.
All right, I promised Courtney that we would not get off topic.
All right.
And we've done it in grand style, but I
Well,
think
we
that's
haven't,
it. Do
I
it.
mean,
I
it's,
still have a question.
Okay, Bob has another question?
Well, the question is, if I read the aspect that you had a number of surveys done in that area, and they identified vernal pools, streams, et cetera, et cetera. And then you have your letters from the Inland Fisheries and Wildlife.
Mhm.
You have them from the Department of Agriculture, et cetera. And the one from Inland and Fisheries talks about different species.
Bats.
They talk about bats, they talk about vernal pools, fishery habitat, et cetera. And they talk about the aspect that it's a typical statement where they tell you, yeah, there are bats there, yes, they are protected, but they're not gonna make any determination on it. But in each one of these cases, they say, we recommend that you contact the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service for further guidance, as several species of bats are listed or proposed for listing under the, so that they're telling you that perhaps you might want to investigate a little bit more, because underneath the hell is it, talus slopes, whatever the hell that is, it says, we advise that all areas approximately 1,000 feet or greater in size be documented within 250 feet, including areas. What they're telling you is that the state, these people don't have, but they're recommending that you do further investigation. Have you done any further investigation?
We
Do
have
you
done,
propose to do further investigation?
we did the federal IPAC for the US wildlife, we do have that. We can, I can't remember if we included it or not, but we do have it. Also, 99.999% of project reviews come back from IFW with that same,
Yeah,
the same information.
But they don't wanna put themselves on the hook,
Yeah.
but and that's why they stick that statement in, so
They do.
protect yourself. Does it warrant further investigation? Because when you look at the species that they list here, some of them are listed as endangered.
Yep.
So, I'm not saying that they're in your area, but you don't know that because you haven't done an investigation.
Correct, yeah, I think they do say there's no known habitat in the area, but again,
I mean, I'm just looking at what you presented, and
I can have them look into it, and if you can get it to me, I can put it in the next.
I know I
packet
did,
if that would be
when I was
appropriate.
on the state level, we did a round with bats, and
Well, the state deals with it every time they come around.
it didn't make any difference, the project went forward anyway, so.
yeah, I mean, the good news is, I mean, not good
I
news,
mean,
but the good news,
I'm just trying to say,
Yeah.
protect yourself, if there's any, I'm not saying there's anything down there, 'cause I don't know, but,
the good news is it's a gravel pit, so there's very few trees. There's not much out there for a bat to,
yeah, but there's surrounding areas and stuff.
So this is a good segue. So we can put eyes on that,
Yeah.
and see that it's a gravel pit and there are no vernal pools, maybe we could.
Well, there are vernal pools.
Right, and not, can we schedule a site walk?
Yes.
Or you might wanna finish questions.
You didn't do
I'm sorry,
standing
did
order.
everyone get their questions in? Jim?
Couple things. I can't find, and I don't ever remember, and definitely can be wrong, DOT permit for access off of East Bethel Road.
You
it's-
don't.
it'd be some, I think.
I think we were awaiting, their approval for the change of use.
Correct, yeah, we do have, I can send the
It's in
existing one
process.
to Courtney, but we did submit, it only requires a change of use just to add the solar.
I don't remember ever one being put in originally. That was just kind of a throw by access, because I know who was using that access, and it was easier and safer to drive onto East Bethel Road than
Yep.
I can
on
tell
the
you if they're
26th.
taking off from a state road, the state's probably aware of it.
Yeah, I was surprised they sent me a full, the full permit for that access point.
Yeah.
So, the main entrance for the pit comes off Paris Road.
No, on East Bethel Road.
So the main entrance for the pit,
Oh, the pit.
The existing
Well,
pit.
okay, you're breaking it down.
I
The
am.
solar array is in the pit. So,
okay, I'll go to that question
Very
first.
current.
The address you guys are using is for 57 Paris Road, which is accessing the pit road. But you're gonna be using East Bethel Road, which isn't 57 Paris. We get a fire call out there, or get a call out there,
good point.
and it's gonna come in as Paris Road, we're gonna go there and go, can't get there. So I think
I mean,
that needs to be looked
Well,
at.
wait a minute, doesn't,
It
okay,
does-
so you've got
it does
East Bethel
come through,
Road.
But I see your point, it does come through, and there's another gate
Yeah.
with a box there. So this side comes from Paris, but I agree, we probably should have something for the fire
Um,
Yeah,
department.
When a
Access
building
to-
permit is pulled, I can issue them.
Adjust.
But we can make a note in our stuff that it's actually,
So are there gates on both sides?
Yeah, but it says the one on the Paris Road side is only gonna be a 4-foot access.
That's a good point.
No, there's a full 20-foot gate on that side.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
I misread that.
Yep. And I think this was
So-
through the lease, right, Henry? This access was in the
Yeah.
lease, that they had to use that access.
So the main access into the pit for the gravel pit is running off of Paris Road. Am I correct in seeing that the fence is actually cutting into that section?
No, the gravel,
I mean, if I look on,
I have an email from them stating that it is not going to cut through the gravel pit. I believe it's Anna. Is that?
I saw her there too.
so they're actually gonna literally be running across the edge of the,
They will not cut off the pit. I have it in an email.
yeah,
Yeah, so this is,
that's the access to
this is
the
the
pit.
southern access.
Yeah.
I'm not
So-
sure which one's the main one, but.
That one.
Yep,
So
you could come
the
in and go
original-
right around the gate.
So when that pit was originally put in, it was originally planned to use the one by the garage.
Yep.
The neighbors complained about the trucks and the dust, and the road wasn't up to spec to be able to handle all that, so that's why lower entrance, and that upper entrance actually is locked off. So, I just don't want to see, have a problem occur that as the trucks are going over through there, and dust and everything, and all the gravel getting kicked up, that it's hitting the panels.
Okay. I do have it in writing that, I reached out to them and did ask that. And it says our
Maybe-
contact at Nexamp spoke with the landowner of the gravel pit today, who said there will be no issue with continuing to use the southern entrance off Paris Road.
Okay.
So,
Again, maybe we'll be clear once we do the
Sidewalk.
sidewalk.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good enough for now.
Your decommissioning plan has to be approved by DEP.
Correct.
And is it under, will it live under their jurisdiction?
That's my understanding.
In other words, it's, I'm trying to understand what the town of, it's not enforceable, I guess, then by the town of Bethel, it's enforceable by DEP? I'm not, this,
DEP holds the bond that Nexamp needs to put up for the decommissioning, which DEP revisits every 5 years, the value of that bond.
so the bond is not something held by our town, it's held by DEP.
Correct, yeah.
And I think there's similar language in the DEP rules that say, if the project sits abandoned for, whatever the time period is, and it's
12
considered
months, yeah.
abandoned, and then they can come in and decommission it.
I just didn't understand who the enforcement authority was gonna be for that. The other thing I think that would be helpful is if you could produce on one sheet of paper all the non-local approvals you have applied for and the date it was received. Because I'm reading through this and I'm trying to mentally keep track of all of them, and it would be helpful to have it on one page, so we know it's the MDOT, it's the decommissioning plan, it's the permit by rule for your, storm drainage stuff and all, yeah.
So they also have to yearly,
2 years.
two years, this is not correct, every 2 years, they have to do a report to CEO, and it goes to the select board. On our side, status, operation, the whole 9 yards.
Okay.
Right.
That's all my questions.
Yeah, Courtney, I'll send you an email tomorrow, Friday, just with what we have. The only thing we don't have right now is the DOT, the other ones have all been approved.
Any more questions?
Judy? How many acres do we know how many acres we already have as
So-
solar?
So approximately 75 out of 125, which can, under certain circumstances, be increased an additional 25, but there's very special circumstances that have to be met to do that. So this'll put it roughly, in the 82, 83 range.
The town put a limit on the amount of acreage that could be put into solar farms.
120.
But this, because it's a gravel pit, would
Acreage.
this have, count less towards that number, or there's some stipulation
No, it's
there?
still, it's,
We're under the threshold at this point.
The
Even
project-
If this were to be approved, it's still.
yeah, the project, it's based on the project area, which is basically your fence, everything inside that fence. So, yeah.
Dates.
Are we good? So I was thinking the site, oh yeah, we have to go back to standing.
No.
Well, I'll make a motion that the applicant, Bethel Renewables, has standing, based on the documentation included in the application.
Second.
All in favor? Now, so, site walk. So we're not meeting, we lose a meeting in June because of town meeting. So our next meeting is June 26th. What would you like to do? Would you like to do the site walk? These guys don't have to make a special trip here before our next planning board meeting on June 26th?
Wouldn't it be the 19th?
No, that's a select board meeting.
No,
Does that-
we're at the 12th.
Work for you?
Yeah, I mean, if you wanna do it earlier, we don't mind coming up too, to make a different trip, whatever's easy for you all.
It might be,
Well, next week, get it over with.
that's kind of where I'm
It's
thinking.
totally everyone's pleasure.
I am basically away next week, but I mean, I can.
Or you could always do it the week before the next meeting, so it's fresh in your mind.
I think I like that better in a way,
Well, if
but no one wants to do it
there's
before
any,
the
Well, maybe
meeting
not
itself?
directly
I can do
before,
it.
because that would make a long evening, but maybe like the week before, if everybody would be around that week.
Okay.
So that's the
How-
week of,
17th to the 21st.
okay.
How far do you have to drive, you folks?
Portland area, it's not bad. I do it almost every weekend in the winter, so.
Now I don't feel so sorry for you.
But still.
Is there any
Okay.
days that are completely out for you all?
What days, what week, the week?
The week of June 17th.
I will not be here, but
Oh,
I can lay it all on Mike's shoulders.
I am out,
Maybe.
you have to send me.
Well, if there's anything we see there that we're gonna want them to pull,
if you could,
get together, it might be.
if
easier.
possible that week, it'd be better to do 19th through the 21st. I'm actually away on the other two, but I could have my manager, I could get him up there.
Does
We-
anybody
we
have
could
anything
staff it.
19th, 20th, 21st?
No.
Yes,
Well,
Mitch?
No, to your question, no.
I do the
But
20th.
I would think in order to keep from delay, I mean, within the interest of not contributing to delays, we should start with immediately and go forward, rather than starting at the June something meeting and coming backwards. Like when is the soonest you can do that, right? I mean, your interest,
I agree.
because when you still have, you have multiple hurdles, it's a long race, and we don't wanna contribute to adding delay.
So do you wanna do it like next week?
I'm all for doing it as soon as possible.
I can
Or
see
it's
that,
just
I'm away.
Oh.
Don't we don't have to have 100%.
I just
Don't we
need
just need to
four
have
of
a
you.
quorum?
I just need 4 of you.
Yeah.
So you quoted, do you need?
Well, Monday's out, well, no, I mean,
They'll tell
Monday's.
you.
Okay.
Monday's a
I
holiday,
mean,
yeah.
it doesn't really matter.
Okay, that's one thing I'll have to check with our surveyor, just to make sure we can get up here and stage it before next week.
Well,
Yeah,
it would be
How about the first
easier.
week in June then?
It would be easier
'Cause then
for
that would
you
give
guys
time.
Okay, and Lori
if
will
it
be
was you
back.
I'll be
two
back
versus
first week in June.
First week of
having
June?
a third person.
First week of June would potentially give your surveyor enough time to get up?
Yeah, I could probably get him up here next week, I don't know, he might be completely out of the office.
Okay,
next
let's do the
weekend,
first week
so-
of June. We don't need to crowd everybody.
Yeah.
Um, How's everybody looking for the first week of June?
I would prefer daytime, if anybody else can do that, it would be
Yes.
wonderful,
We could
but
do
we will make it work.
Monday the 3rd,
I
the
can't do
4th is
fourth.
Telstar's graduation parade,
I can't do the fourth anyway.
5th is selectmen, and then I'm
It's not-
right out trying to
Believe
get
it or not.
out of here.
So, is everybody available Monday the 3rd?
Mhm.
I think I can.
Could anybody not do before
Daytime.
2:30 or 3?
Monday, I'm not available on the third.
Okay. The 4th during the day?
I'm
Is
good.
anybody not available on the 4th during the day?
I'm not, but you can do it without me.
Okay. June 4th looks good.
Okay, what time
My
is
daughter's
everyone,
birthday.
What
is
day?
everyone,
Tuesday, June 4th.
is everyone available sometime during the day, so the planning
That would be wonderful.
board people do not
I
have
do
to,
have plans that evening.
don't have to come up, work at night?
What time?
How early works for you guys?
Whatever works for you.
Oh, you can,
No, I mean, we can, yeah, I mean,
We can do 8, we
it's
can
only
do
two of us,
9.
you guys are trying to organize.
Let's do 11.
11 o'clock?
11? You guys have to work for a living.
Okay,
10.
then let's do 3. I don't care.
No, we
whatever
can't,
works
we
for
can't go
everyone.
that late. We get
Okay.
Telstar parade that
Just pick a time.
afternoon, 9, 10,
11.
Let's do 11.
How about
Okay.
noon in June? Can we-
Okay.
Jim, yes,
Or
we'll,
lunch?
we'll bring pizza.
Jim will
Yeah, I'll
bring
bring
lunch.
sandwiches.
11 o'clock, June 4th?
Yes, got
We
it.
meet at
We meet
which
at,
side?
so
Which-
would we meet at Paris Road or East Bethel Road?
I would
Probably
say
East
East
Bethel Road.
Bethel Road, to sort
Okay.
of get the, you know,
There's a
sort of going
level,
into the site.
there's a level area there for parking.
Okay.
there's a
Is there
lot
a
to dig
number
on that,
or a
right?
sign or
Okay.
anything?
It's
Okay,
right in
then
front of the
it's
house
totally
that's
locked.
sitting in the driveway.
It's
Um,
right after
okay.
the farm.
You guys want to get there and all.
I'm just trying to just think,
I don't know.
to
I'd like
put
to
out
look
like
at
an
it.
agenda on my site walk, I'll just put after whatever that
Yeah,
address
that's
is.
78 East Bethel, so it's right after that farmhouse.
Perfect, thank you. All right, and what would you guys all like to see?
Pizza's fine, sandwiches.
I was just gonna say shrimp cocktail, yeah.
Beer.
Bloody Marys.
Oh, Hampton's got the wheels on sale for $6.99.
The wheels, there we go.
That's
Um,
right, wheels.
What do we want to see? Well, the questions we had, if you can clear up, you know, maybe discuss the access, the road from either side, there seems to be, what have we questioned tonight, the vernal pool?
Do you want the fence staked so you see where it is or no?
Yeah, it would be, because it's not a square.
No, that'd be a
It would,
lot of.
it would be nice if it could.
That's what,
And I think the other thing we wanna just see is how well buffered the site is.
Yeah, that's gonna be our main thing.
This buffer's pretty good, because you can't even see the gravel pit from the road when I
Yeah,
go
I know.
by.
Yeah.
But I mean, just getting eyes on it and making sure that.
It is part of our findings of fact, so we need to see that.
I'm assuming that the elevation in the pit
Mhm.
is low, I mean, as most pits
Yeah.
are.
this is all raised around here.
Yeah,
The section that you can see from East Bethel is mostly the north side.
well, as somebody who's always
Yeah.
interested in
And that
gravel
was
pit
intentionally left.
reclamation, at least something good will happen.
There we can see it, yeah.
Farmhouse, even in the winter, you can't see it.
So we'll stake the fence, and then, the road is very defined from the start, but we'll probably stake the center line so you can walk the road. Once it gets in the gravel pit, it's a little harder to see the road.
But like if I went out there, I could walk it by myself and see all the flagging
Yeah.
after the fact.
Oh, yeah, we'll stake it, we'll leave it all there.
Now, how do you
I
get
was just, say, I don't know, I mean, they are still digging some material out of there, so we may have to
Probably
take up
should.
the stakes after. But I can check with them to kind of see how much we can keep.
If it's a really big deal, don't worry about it. I trust everybody
You
here.
could also do, I mean, if it was a hassle, you could just orange paint it.
Yeah.
It's a little bit harder for us, but
It takes a long time.
Bear's pretty good about stuff, they're not doing much.
Okay,
I don't know what's left over on that side from piles.
so we're good here?
Yeah, a little bit, but not much, yeah.
All right.
Are you here as just an interested citizen, is that it?
I heard this is where the place to be in Bethel.
Because I'm thinking You've been very quiet.
Boy, were you lied to.
You did?
I'm a member of the Newry Planning Board, and I'm just huge my interest on the solar array, so I thought I'd come over and see how somebody else does business.
Oh, you look very familiar. What is your name?
Edward Baker.
You just look so, when we came in, I thought, I know him, but
Just live in,
that's it. That's
just live
it.
in, Parker Brook.
Used to.
Oh, okay.
Now he's across from Stevens.
Outward bound between Kenny's and,
Okay. Okay, great. Well, great, so we'll see
I
you
know,
on
exactly.
June 4th. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And then the next meeting is June.
June 26th. Normally we would meet the 12th, but we do have town meetings.
Meetings.
Yeah, so
So off the record,
ooh,
or off the, not part, it doesn't really
No,
matter.
we're
That's
not
what it-
adjourned, Jim, so,
Oh, we're not adjourned yet. Make a motion to adjourn. Second.
all in favor?
hold on, I didn't get a first and a second.
He first
Is
did,
there
it, I
anything else,
seconded it.
Courtney?
Bob
I think-
Everett,
And everyone was in favor of
Jim
adjourning.
Bennett, and was that unanimous?
Yes.
And you cannot discuss an application with an applicant off the record, so.
Correct. You wanna shut that
Excellent,
down?
but we adjourned already, so we got that out of the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry,
Well,
tricked you.
is
That was-
it
That would be considered ex
Unethical.
parte communication, so please do not ask them.
that question that I was gonna ask?
Ask it
But-
at the sidewalk.
Actually, if this
Is
isn't
that on?
inappropriate for after
Shut
adjournment,
it
but
off.
I was gonna suggest too that if, because you were
Shut it
rightly
off.
saying, waiting on questions. It may be, according, is there a time period in which, if something comes up in the next hour or two, or whatever, before the sidewalk, would it be okay to forward the questions to?
You could forward it to me and I can,
Absolutely. Or remember the questions for the sidewalk.
Well, just